I've been in the kitchen, whipping. I've been chefing, mixing.
What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Bucket Center, and we are back here with the playoff edition, my Bucket Center end of the season. We're going to be talking about all the awards, talking about how this NBA season has gone. It's been a very interesting 2016-2017 NBA season, so let's get into it. My overall grading for this NBA season is a B. We've seen a lot of great things of this NBA season. We've also seen a lot of questionable, worrisome things about this season. First of all, what this season will be remembered for is Russell Westbrook's historic season, his historic triple doubles, 42 triple doubles, averaging a triple double for the entire season, passing Oscar Robertson for the most triple doubles in a single season. We have also seen the year of several candidates, several players stepping up and elevating their games to be in contention for the MVP award. Look at James Harden of the Houston Rockets, leading the league in assists, also top 5 in scoring, leading the Houston Rockets to the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. You got LeBron James having a career year, one of the best years, the best year, in fact, he has had since he came back to Cleveland, averaging just around 26, 8, and 8. Kawhi Leonard having an incredible year as well. All of them in the MVP race. Kawhi Leonard, San Antonio Spurs, second in the Western Conference. You could even throw in Stephen Curry into the conversation, who's been playing very well as of late. And if KD didn't get hurt, he could also be in the conversation as well. The Golden State Warriors are the best team in the NBA right now. They've been playing extremely well, 4 All-Stars this year, and but they've proved to be a little bit vulnerable come good teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, who beat them twice. They got beat by teams like the Miami Heat, Timberwolves, the Lakers. So they have shown some vulnerability, and we have seen some good matchups, and we know this playoffs is about to be super lit, and it's not pretty much a guarantee that one team's going to run away with the championship. However, there are clear favorites with the Warriors out west. The East has been a little bit closer because the Cavs have struggled, but we'll get into that. With the negatives of this season so far, resting games, players resting games, and in particular, my favorite player, LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, have been resting games. And this was super bad because my favorite team, the Miami Heat, was the beneficiary of several key games. Players ended up resting. The Brooklyn Nets ended up resting their starters. What the hell, Brooklyn? You guys have 20 wins on the season, and you're going to rest your starters in a game against the Chicago Bulls with playoff implications. Adam Silver's got to figure out something to do about that. It's pretty much exposing the regular season. It doesn't really matter. I mean, honestly, Cleveland struggled their asses off this year, the defending NBA champions, but they knew that they'd be fine when it came to playoff time. They were pretty much just tooling around. They played terrible defense, had some acquisitions. I know they had some injuries, but this Cleveland Cavaliers team knows that they can flip the switch whenever they want, and they ended up being the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. The East is so weak, though, it looks like Cleveland's going to run through the East into the NBA Finals yet again. I mean, they're not as weak as they were last year. They've gotten a little bit better, but they're still pretty weak. So we're seeing the balances of the conferences aren't very good. The Western Conference, especially the top 3 teams in the West, all have better regular season records than the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I would suggest Adam Silver lower the regular season by about 20 games from 82 to 62 and eliminate back-to-backs. So when these guys are playing on national TV, especially when they're on the road, guys can see their favorite players play. I think that will improve the product of the league. Now, in terms of the East being a lot stronger, or weaker, than the Western Conference, maybe we just have the top 16 teams make it, which I've been saying for a long time, regardless of seeding, East and West, it could just be the top 16 teams. So maybe LeBron would have to face maybe the Spurs or something in the conference finals instead of like the Raptors or the Boston Celtics, something like that. Let's talk about my NBA awards for this season. First of all, the MVP, which was by far the toughest award to pick, and I'm going to give that to Russell Westbrook. I've been saying for the longest time now that James Harden should be in the MVP. He's been more efficient, he's a better shooter, than Russell Westbrook. He has more wins than Russell Westbrook. And he might be more deserving than Russell Westbrook. But the fact that Russell Westbrook's had in the historic year that he's had with the triple doubles, the fact that when we look back on this season, we're going to remember what Russell Westbrook did. He may not be better than James Harden. He's certainly not better than LeBron James. And in terms of the both ends of the floor that Kawhi Leonard plays and his efficiency, him leading the Spurs to the second best record, he might be the worst out of all these guys. But in terms of the season that he's had, the electrifying storyline that he has after KD left to Golden State, it seems like no better fit than Russell Westbrook for this award. And I feel like, spoiler for my next video, my playoff predictions, James Harden will beat Russell Westbrook in the first round, and he'll get his revenge in that category. But Westbrook's having an incredible year, and I will acknowledge him with that MVP award. Let's get to the Rookie of the Year award. This has been a very disappointing award because the rookies this year have been very disappointing. Brandon Ingram hasn't really shown out this year like I thought he might. I still think Ben Simmons is the best player from this draft class. We didn't get to see him this year. Buddy Hield showed some promise on the Sacramento Kings. Now, I think he's going to be a very solid player. Chris Dunn didn't get enough PT due to the fact that Ricky Rubio's had a great year this year, which was very surprising, although the Timberwolves were pretty disappointing as a whole. But my Rookie of the Year was close between Dario Saric and Malcolm Brogdon. I've been flip-flopping this, but I'm going to go with Malcolm Brogdon, and here's why. He is playing on a playoff contender, and he's also contributed for them in the guard position. They're a little bit short in terms of the point guard position with Matthew Dellavedova and then Malcolm Brogdon. He's had a solid year all around, decent numbers for a rookie that's getting some good minutes and contributing for a team that makes the playoff. Dario Saric has had a good year as well, but it's been a little bit meaningless because the Sixers don't really have much talent around alongside him, especially when Embiid got hurt. So it's kind of like a showcase for some of those young guys. Dario Saric, he played well, but I'm going to give it to Malcolm Brogdon. Most improved, we're going back to the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I think this one was a little bit easier. Dion Waiters maybe could have won the award. He got hurt a couple weeks ago, so he hasn't played too much, and I'm just going to give it to Giannis. This is his first time making the All-Star game. He's also going to make an All-NBA team, in my opinion. Spoiler alert, we'll get to that later, but he's been solidly improving in pretty much every statistical category, leading the Milwaukee Bucks into the playoffs this year as a 6th seed. Sixth man, the first of many Houston Rockets that I have in these awards, Eric Gordon, thriving under Mike D'Antoni's system, the fast-paced three-point shooting style of play. He is the best scorer off the bench in the league this year. Eric Gordon has been playing phenomenally, but his teammate who came over at the trade deadline, Lou Williams, also could be a candidate for the sixth man. I've also heard Andre Iguodala's name thrown in there. He's been playing well as of late, but this is a complete season award, so I don't really know. Speaking of a season award, I think we should possibly wait until the full season is over to determine these awards. The playoffs should matter, and if you see Russell Westbrook go out early against James Harden and you just pick Westbrook to win MVP, I don't really know because that's not the full year. But we do know that if it was the full year, LeBron James would win it every single year. He's always going to the finals. This is about to be his 7th straight trip to the NBA Finals and potentially his 4th NBA championship ring. So LeBron's been the staple of that. So if it was for the full season, my favorite player would have several more MVPs. But anyways, let's move on to the rest of the awards. Let's go to the Defensive Player of the Year award. This is a Golden State Warrior, Draymond Green. Kawhi Leonard won it the past 2 years. A lot of people have been saying maybe Rudy Gobert because he's a great rim protector. But when I look at it, it's easy. It's Draymond Green. This is a guy that can guard multiple positions, anywhere from the point guard to the power forward position. He's the most versatile defender in the NBA. He's also a very solid off-ball defender, which is very rare to find. You see a lot of good on-ball defenders like Tony Allen, Kawhi, but this is an off-ball defender that plays great help defense and leads the Golden State Warriors in the defensive category, which is big because although this Warriors team has firepower on the offensive end, in order for them to be a truly great team, they have to play good defense. We're seeing Cleveland has been struggling on the defensive end of the floor, and that's why they fell to the 2 seed. Let's talk about the coach of the year. Mike D'Antoni's done a great job for Houston. He's done this before in Phoenix, leading Steve Nash. Steve Nash was able to win back-to-back MVPs under Dan, or not. I don't know if it was back-to-back, but he won 2 MVPs under D'Antoni. And he's led this Houston Rockets team to the 3 seed, a system around Harden, which he moved Harden to the point guard position, and he was able to thrive alongside Eric Gordon, Ryan Anderson, all these sharpshooters. He's also done a great job bringing Clint Capella into the starting lineup after they lost Dwight Howard, and he's played really well this season as well. Executive of the Year for very similar reasons is Daryl Morey. Another guy you could consider getting it is Bob Myers, who brought in KD, but I just think the multitude of moves he had to make, not being content with the roster and adding Williams at the trade deadline, along with Eric Gordon, along with Ryan Anderson, who they got in the offseason, rebounding from losing Dwight Howard. Very great job for him. Back to the coach of the year for a second. Other potential candidates, Greg Popovich has pretty much won every single year. Maybe you throw Steve Kerr into the mix, although I don't really think so. This team is insane. I think I could have coached this team and led them to a very similar record. No offense. I like what Steve Kerr has been doing, but that's something else. Also, Scott Brooks, the job he's done with the Washington Wizards is great. Eric Spoelstra, what he did for my Miami Heat, the reason he won't win the award is because the Heat didn't make the playoffs, but they started 11-30 on the season, and he really got these guys playing inspired basketball. Not a single all-star on the roster. Goran Dragic played well this year, but he really got the most out of his guys. Defensively, they never gave up. Great job coaching from Eric Spoelstra. Let's talk about the most underachieving team this year. That would be the New York Knicks. Derrick Rose said that this New York team was going 82-0, and I'm not seeing it. All I am seeing is drama with the New York Knicks organization. Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah's terrible contract. Phil Jackson released a statement today. He's trying to get Melo out of town, saying that he should no longer be on the squad. He should go to a contender. They haven't had a good job winning with him. I think part of the problem, the main problem, is management up with James Dolan. They haven't been winning because Phil Jackson's been here. And that's also another key factor to that. The coaching staff, I don't really like how Jeff Hornacek has done this year. He's been terrible managing the minutes. And they also keep trying to incorporate this triangle offense, which I feel like is an ancient offense. I don't think it's going to work in the modern NBA anymore. I think you need to give players a little bit more control or freedom, not control, the opposite of control. A little bit more freedom on the offense to kind of do their own thing. They still got to make sure they have good IQ, and that's where the coach comes in to tell them the smart things to do on the basketball court. But when you look at the teams that are really successful, they have a system, but mainly they have these go-to scorers and these go-to star players that can kind of do their own thing out there and make the right decision. The most overachieving team, we've talked about them so much. They've had several awards. The Houston Rockets, the 3 seed in the Western Conference, and the 3rd best team in the NBA. A lot of people forget that. So what an impressive job by the Houston Rockets. Let's go to the All-NBA teams. My All-NBA first team consists of Russell Westbrook, who I picked as the MVP, James Harden, the runner-up, LeBron James, who's also probably 3rd place in my MVP balloting, and Kawhi Leonard, who's number 4 in my MVP balloting, along with Anthony Davis going in there at the center position for the All-NBA first team. All-NBA second team, I've got Stephen Curry, who's been playing very well as of late. Led the Warriors to a huge win streak when Durant was out. We'll also put Isaiah Thomas in there. What he's done, a great breakout year. He could get some consideration for the most improved player. Just the way he's been carrying the scoring load for this Boston Celtics squad, which is first in the Eastern Conference, I may add. You add KD, what he has done this year, fitting in with the Golden State Warriors, having a great year, a very efficient year, playing some great defense, being a good rim protector for this Golden State Warriors team. Then I got Jimmy Butler, who led the Bulls to the 8th seed of the playoffs, having a great year, an all-star campaign, and then DeMarcus Cousins in the middle. He got traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, having a great year as a big man, although the team, the Pelicans, underachieved, but they didn't really have enough time and enough chemistry at this point. Not enough guards around them, not enough shooters to really contend for a playoff berth. And then also, he did a good job with the Sacramento Kings with the time he was there. They were actually low-key a contender to make the 8th spot in the Western Conference before he got traded. All-NBA third team, John Wall's having a phenomenal year for leading the Washington Wizards to the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference. You got Klay Thompson, a sharpshooter. He dropped 60 and 3/4 this NBA season, and he's been playing great on both ends as usual. He will lock the best guard on the other team up for the Golden State Warriors. Giannis Antetokounmpo, my most improved player, slides in at the small forward. It was tough to exclude Paul George from this list the way he's been playing lately, but I'm going to have Gordon Hayward there on my All-NBA third team, and then the big man also from the Utah Jazz, the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert. With the way he's been blocking shots, he's been playing very well this year as a member of the Utah Jazz. So those are my awards for this NBA season. Comment down below what you guys think about the NBA season. Give it a grade. My next video will be my playoff predictions video, who I have winning it all. I am out, guys. Peace.